what's going on, everybody? I just wanted to give you guys another build video. Basically just a DPS build for people that are just, new to this game, or, just wanted to go into a raid and be actually, contributing some damage. But basically, if you're trying to get into a raid and, they ask you if you have a high DPS build, this is pretty much the build that I'm going to show you. And basically, there's several builds. I always say there's several builds that you can make that will give you high damage. There's gear sets that you can use. But this is basically just a basic high DPS, high crit, high crit chance and high crit damage. And what I mean by crit hit chance and damage is just basically right here. I'm not really going to focus on weapon damage, but basically crit hit chance 60% or 200%. 60% crit hit chance and 200% crit hit damage. Now, the first thing we're looking at is, I'll just go over the weapons really quick, is the M1A. Now, this is, if you're not familiar with the game as far as all the weapons and the best weapons to use in any particular situation, this is going to be your best bet. This is going to give you the most damage output with a 15 bullets in the magazine. As you can see here, this particular build, which is pretty much inspired by one of the guys I play with, Lost on Purpose, he gave me some pointers on this build. But normally what I usually use is a M1A. As you can see here, it has boomerang. Critical hits have a 50% chance to return a bullet to the magazine. If a bullet is returned to the magazine, the next shot has a 40% increased damage. Now, the reason why this is great for M1A or high DPS build is because it's relying on crit hits. And of course, if you have a higher chance, 60% chance of crit hit, and with the increased crit hit damage, this is going to be a lot of bang for your buck, return on investment, basically, with this boomerang. So, and as you can see, critical hit damage. And of course, you're going to want damage to target out of cover, that 10% damage to target out of cover. All right. And then the next thing I have here is for basically for raids, you're dealing with multiple enemies, crowd control, basically the Scorpio. The Scorpio is going to give you, with all 6 raids, you're going to have 1 million damage with, of course, shotgun damage and that damage to armor, which is great for that. Now for the pistol, I can use the orbit. It has a perfect finisher, swapping from this weapon within 10 seconds of killing an enemy grants 35% critical hit chance and 40% critical hit damage for 15 seconds. Now, of course, as I said before, anything that's going to increase your crit hit chance, crit hit damage is great. So, you're already at 60%, which is the max if you're new to the game, if you're not sure, didn't know about that. But it is the max, 60%, and then of course crit hit damage can go as high as you can make it. Usually for a raid, the standard is 200% crit hit damage. 200%, guys. Not 180, not 160, not 150, but 200%. And I can show you how to get that with, of course, your 3-piece Providence defense set, which if you look on the right, it shows you that 1 piece is 50% headshot damage, 10% crit hit chance with 2 pieces, and for 3 pieces would be 15% critical hit damage. So first I'll show you my mask here. If you notice, it's fully optimized with the 15% weapon damage, crit hit damage, a crit hit chance, and a 12% crit hit damage mod, which is can be sometimes hard to find, but you can find them. And this is, when we talk about grinding for gear and optimizing, and if you want to be in the raid and actually do well in the raid, basically you want to grind for this gear. And you can go to the summit, or you can look on your map, and whenever there's look for an area that has targeted loot, specifically of course Providence defense. And on the chest piece, I have focus as a talent, increases total weapon damage by 5% every second you're aiming, while scoped 8 times or higher, up to 50%, and requires a scope with 8 times magnification or higher. Now, if you look on the mods on my M1A, I have the VX1 Scope 12 times. It gives you plus 35% headshot damage, and you lose about 10% reload speed. And of course, I put the 5 + 5 rounds tightly packed marksman mag to give us 15 shots in one magazine and 5% crit hit chance as an attachment. All right, so there are other options for the chest piece, depending on what you're running. If you want to do like your kiting boomer or something like that, you can actually switch to a tardigrade to kind of save your, keep your high damage, but also you will lower your crit hit chance and damage, but you would still be you still have a high damage output. But that's kind of getting more specific. I'm just like I said, want to keep it basic for those guys that haven't run the raid or haven't completed a raid, and they want to go through and be in a group, whether you're going in an LFG or you're running with your clan, which they're probably helping you anyway. But they'll give you that the damage that you need to, because most raids, well, the two raids in this in the division, Iron Horse and Dark Hours, the first boss is a DPS check. Okay. Now there are other you can use Obliterate as a talent. Again, it's a talent that takes advantage of high crit chance. So critical hits increase total weapon damage by 1% for 5 seconds, stacks up to 25 times. And another option, of course, for the raid would be Tamper Proof. Now you're gonna want this if you're doing ad control or something like that. You use it at entry points, spawn points for ads. Enemies that walk within 3 meters of your hive, turret, or remote pulse are shocked. Arm time is 2 seconds. Cooldown per skill is 10 seconds. And that's kind of important. And, when you take a look at that, where you put it, if they're coming out of the door, they'll get shocked. But then if they spawn like immediately after that, they will not be shocked, basically. And that's that when you talk about the arm time and cooldown per skill. And then, of course, there's the perfect glass cannon, which I really wouldn't recommend if you're not. I don't use it. It does give you a lot of damage output, but if you're new to the raid, which you probably are if you're watching this video, definitely the perfect glass cannon would not be a good choice for you unless your gameplay is, you're basically you're not getting hit, because all damage you take is amplified by 60%, so you'll get one shot. All right, so for the holster I have for the added crit hit damage, the one piece Groupo Sombra SA. And again, I have weapon damage and crit hit chance and crit hit damage maxed out on this piece. And then, of course, for the knee pads is I recommend for any high damage build, which is the damage to target out of cover. It's going to give you additional damage along with the damage out of cover that you get from your rifle. So there's 8% there and another 10%. So total 18% damage to target out of cover. Now this comes with the damage to the target out of cover already on this piece. So normally when you find it, what you're looking for is something with as close to max weapon damage as you can get it. And then of course you can optimize and add that crit hit damage or crit hit chance, depending on what you need for the build, for your entire build, for your crit hit chance, total crit hit chance and total crit hit damage. And of course, the Seska, which gives you 10% crit hit chance with the one piece. And again, the weapon damage maxed out, crit hit chance, crit hit damage. And then for your backpack, Vigilance. Now, Vigilance is one of those talents where it's kind of conditional, because if you get hit, you lose the talent. So Vigilance increases total weapon damage by 25%. Taking damage disables this buff for 4 seconds. So, you do have your third piece, your third Providence defense, which also gives you 15% crit hit damage, and along with the Seska and Groupo Sombra raises your crit hit chance, crit hit damage. Now, you also have, for skills, really depends on where you're at. And if you're using Tamper Proof, you would want to have an assault turret, or something that you can place on the ground. You can use the Stinger Hive, but of course, normally when you're in a raid, you're going to want something that's going to revive you, because people are not always going to have the chance to actually come and pick you up. And for the mods on the Hive, I have Duration, which it really doesn't matter with the Revive Hive. The one thing you really want is Reviver Armor Repair. Basically, so when it does revive you, you get 9.4% more armor repair when it picks you up. And then of course, it's the other mod slot here. You can use range, which probably would be your best bet. You know, if you're trying to pick someone else up, you want to have that range, available to you, the additional range. Now, for the signature weapon, the TAC 50 rifle, I use this because the signature, the sharpshooter, gives you, of course, a digital scope, which you can use with focus, the talent on the chest piece, but it really gives you that extra 15% increased headshot damage with rifles and marksman rifles. So that gives your M1A an extra punch, so to speak. And of course, all group members that are closer to enemies than you get another 10% headshot damage. Okay, and also you generate marksman rifle ammo, which really is not a big deal for this particular build because we're not using a marksman rifle, but you do get an extra armor gain while in cover. It's just like one slot of bonus armor, which really doesn't seem like much, but if you are using something like Intimidate, if you're in cover, you can get that amplified weapon damage. But of course, this is kind of impractical because you're not going to be shooting, someone at close distance most of the time. So basically, this is a basic build for the raid. If you go in the stats, you'll see again, here I have 59%. I'm not sure where that 0.1% is falling off, but I mean, there are other builds that you can use, but this is crit hit chance, and this is what you're really looking for here, really to get you in the raid, because that's the one thing. And of course, you get that additional 100 you get your additional headshot damage from your signature weapon there, which brings you up to 155%. But that's really all you're looking for. So for this build, like I said, basic DPS gets you in the raid. You're killing things, and you'll see a lot of other builds. There are a lot of different ways to make these high DPS builds, but this is the basics. Three piece Providence, one piece Seska, one piece Groupo Sombra, and of course that Fox's Prayer high end Overlord with the damage to target out of cover. Now there is another combination that you can use if you're not lucky enough to get the 3-piece Providence. Well, you could go to a 2-piece Sokolov and 3-piece Providence with a Groupo Sombra. But the only thing is you're going to miss out on that target damage to target out of cover. So you're leaving out a little bit of damage there that you would normally get from the damage to target out of cover. And of course, your secondary weapon. I'm using the Eagle Bear here for this particular build because I'm losing that damage to target out of cover. That means the enemies may stay up longer. So of course, it has the Eagle Strike and Tenacity. With the Eagle Strike having accuracy increases as you continue to fire up to 30%. Headshot kills grant the Tenacity buff for 15 seconds. And the strength of tenacity is increased by 1% for body shots and 5% for headshots. So you get that first kill, and you're pretty much it can keep you alive a little bit longer because the 40 to 80% of damage taken is delayed until the buff expires, and all of the total delayed damage is reduced for each enemy kill while the buff is active up to 100% with 3 kills. So in the raid, this could be useful to you. If you're not getting that extra kick from the damage to target out of cover, this will be of course, good for you as well. But as I said before, this is a basic DPS build. There are other builds out there that give high damage output, but they're impractical for the raid because you would have to be right up on them. It's like as if you were using a shotgun that gives you, 1,000,000 damage. It's going to give you a high damage output, but you're going to be right up on the NPCs. And if you're just starting out on the raid, or you haven't had as many completions or haven't done as many raids, that's probably not the build that you want to go for. That's something that you will work on, if you're, as you get more experienced. All right, but that's pretty much it. If you have any questions or comments about the build, please leave some comments for me, and I'll try to respond to them. But please like and subscribe. I'll be posting this on Twitch and YouTube. Just pretty much anywhere I have any presence on for my channel. So it's Eviscerator Gaming. And of course, like I said, like, subscribe, follow, hit that bell on YouTube, and you know, give me a shout out. And anything helps. And take it easy, guys. Thank you.
Seems to be some kind of high-tech defensive system. See if you can put it out of commission.
Defense system node disabled.
Get knocked out of the bloody